Coming up on Naperville News 17, a new addition could be coming to Water Street. A new superintendent is chosen by District 204, and a national appearance by a Waubonsie student made possible by an act of kindness. Hello everyone, I'm Kim Pierce. Thanks for joining us for this week's Naperville News. There could be a new building coming to Water Street. Naperville News 17's Christian Kenizal tells us more about it.
At the latest Planning and Zoning meeting, commissioners voted to approve River Main. The building would be a 5-story multi-use structure, which would include a retail store, offices, and a potential restaurant.
This location is a terrific location. You know, I know it's self-serving comment, but it is. I think it's a prominent one of the most prominent locations downtown. The visibility from Washington Street up Main Street, you know, and we just really want to build a beautiful building that will complement downtown.
Rubin has a history of successful buildings in downtown Naperville, including where the Starbucks and Gap stores are located. Located on the corner of Main and Water Street, River Main's window design will have a 270-degree view, which will overlook the DuPage River. It will also be the tallest building on Water Street after commissioners approved variances to allow for its height. A couple of public comments were made in support of River Main, one by the owner of Empire, Will Cullen, and a Naperville resident.
And I think what Mr. Rubin and his team have done here is very, very attractive, a very tasteful building. It complements the neighboring structures well. It provides consistency, and I think it's exciting for that corner of Water and Main.
Commissioners agreed that the building would be a good addition to Water Street, voting 9-0 in favor of it. It will now go to City Council, who will have the final decision on the project. For Naperville News 17, I'm Christian Kenizal.
River Main officials said if approved by council, the building could be open as early as March of next year. Also at the Planning and Zoning meeting, commissioners voted to approve a full-service Firestone at 2643 Forgue Drive in South Naperville. The 9-0 decision was met with some opposition from community members as representatives from Arbor Terrace Naperville voiced concerns.
We're just worried about the traffic and the noise for a use that's currently not permitted. And this seems to be a very intensive use for this site.
Ennis said the noise from the auto shop could degrade the quality of life of the terrace residents. Representatives from GBT Realty Corporation said they've taken steps like having their service bays point away from the terrace and moving their property further from the retirement homes.
We pushed the building into the furthest corner closest up to the highway. And loaded up the rear of the site, or basically the east side of our property, with heavy landscaping to screen both view and noise, to try to make sure that we're the best neighbors we can be.
Commissioners ultimately approved the Firestone project, but said they must comply with noise levels which can't exceed 45 decibels from the sidewalk near the building. City Council will have the final vote on the project. There's a new leader for 360 Youth Services. Judy Carabeau will be taking over as the agency's new Chief Executive Officer starting February 1st. Carabeau has a strong history with nonprofits and governmental organizations, most recently serving as the Executive Director for Family Shelter Services in DuPage County. Carabeau takes over for former CEO Harley Jones, who held the role for 2 years. In 2021, 360 Youth Services will celebrate 50 years of helping our area's youth through counseling, housing provision, and substance use prevention education. After 23 years, DuPage PADS will have a new leader. Carol Simler is retiring from her position as President and CEO of DuPage PADS, effective June 30th, 2020. Under her leadership since 1997, DuPage PADS expanded its services from providing shelter 9 months per year to providing interim housing 365 nights a year.
I'm proud of the volunteers. I'm proud of our staff. I'm proud of our donors who supported those efforts along the way. And for me, it really has been taking people from a pad on the floor to a key in the door.
Simler said thousands of DuPage County residents have benefited from DuPage Pad services during her tenure, and the organization has been recognized with awards throughout the county. And as for what's next for Simler, she says she intends to remain active in the community and in improving people's lives. The organization has formed a search committee to find its next president and CEO, which it hopes to do before Simler officially steps down. After the break, local leaders lead a path toward hope to help prevent suicide.
What's the matter, boy? What are you trying to tell me? Is something wrong?
We live in a safe community, but not a crime-free community. If you see something, say something.
Naperville Animal Crimestoppers.
Yes, I'd like to report a case of animal cruelty and neglect.
Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves.
Having NCTV come in and being able to really capture what we do, how we've changed, and the different programming we have has helped us stand out and bring people in looking for a different type of fitness. So they're really good at showing and communicating. If you have a business that might be hard to understand, or maybe a class that is better visualized than in print, they are the people to do it. So they reach out to the community, they meet our target audience, and they do a really nice job delivering a very precise idea of what your company has. It's been our biggest return on all advertising that we've done. So they come in and they do all the work and they make it beautiful, and we've had the opportunity to work with NCTV 3 times, and every time they outdo themselves. Staff is so easy to work with, worth every dollar. You know, they're just phenomenal people and a great product.
Dr. Adrian Talley is District 204's new superintendent. Our own Christian Kenizal tells us more about how he came to be their new leader.
A standing ovation rang out as Indian Prairie School District 204 board members voted to elect Adrian Talley as their new superintendent at their latest board meeting. Talley, who's 55, has spent the last 5 years as an administrator in Prince George's County Public Schools in Maryland, and is looking forward to his new position.
You have my utmost promise to work as hard as possible. My goal is for children, my goal is for staff, and my goal is for the community.
Talley will begin his 3-year tenure in July, just days after current superintendent Karen Sullivan is set to retire. Feedback from 1,200 community members on what qualities they like in Sullivan's successor gave Ray and Associates a rubric for their candidate. From there, they narrowed down the pool of about 50 applicants down to 6 and eventually landed on Talley. Michael Razak, District 204's board president and the only board member who was a part of hiring Sullivan, recalls the moment he knew Talley was the right person for the job.
One of the things you wanted to create in a District 204 is a culture of laughing and enjoying each other. And that was an aha moment for many of the people who work here, and it was an aha moment for the board.
The day after Talley was introduced as superintendent, a welcome reception was held. He met with community leaders, staff, and parents of 204's greater community. A former District 204 parent says the district took a great step with hiring their first superintendent that's a person of color.
And he's spoken to some of his ability to work with all kinds of people. So we're encouraged by that. We're encouraged by the step that the district has taken and the statement that it makes even.
Talley addressed community members, and his mission revolved around supporting students. He said it would take everyone to reach that goal.
I stay as humble as possible in all that I do. I am just one person, and it is not the Adrian show. It is our show. It is we who make the difference, and we who support our children and our staff.
For Naperville News 17, I'm Christian Kenizal.
Talley also shared his 3 core beliefs of trust, integrity, and respect. Gun violence incidents in DuPage County, like the attempted armed robbery at Crest Creek Country Club last November, have prompted a Naperville City Councilman to take action. Kevin Coyne is launching Safe DuPage to help combat gun violence. The organization hopes to create solutions for issues relating to crime and public safety.
I spent a fair amount of time talking to folks in law enforcement and within the criminal justice world about crime and why it's happening and what's happening in Chicago and why those incidents seem to keep occurring. I'm worried that things like that could become more normal around here or more common, and that's something that I think would be terrible for our community, and I think it's something we need to do what we can to address and prevent.
Coyne believes one of the biggest problems with gun issues are repeat offenders. He plans on working with legislators to create tougher laws against them. The city councilman will collaborate with community leaders on hosting town halls and rallies to raise awareness on the strong ties between substance abuse, crime, and gun violence. The first Safe DuPage meeting will be sometime in February. Two of our local leaders recently held a suicide awareness program. Our own Aisha Ashley Hausa has the details.
Councilman John Crumman and DuPage County Board member Don Desart hosted a suicide awareness forum for the public.
We lose so many, especially teenagers in our community, to suicide. And we thought this, January 13th, would be a perfect time because it's right after the holidays and through spring that most suicides occur.
I was invited to an event where a Naperville North high school student put on a run for a fellow student that had passed away just a few months earlier. And it was suicide. And then it dawned on me that this is a bigger concern than one would think. And maybe as a community we should talk about it.
Community conversations, suicide awareness, and the path toward hope was an open discussion where people could ask questions, raise their concerns, and share their personal stories. One mother lost her son to suicide. One reason she cited was academic pressures.
Grades, scores, test scores, academics, achievements, all of those things are not nearly as important as them just, being here in the end. Because frankly, that's sort of my measuring stick now. And it would not have been before.
Around 35 people attended the program at the Naperville Municipal Center to also hear from a panel of experts who talked about risk factors, warning signs, and taking that first step.
I think so many people are afraid to ask because they aren't sure what to do or aren't sure how to help. But sometimes people are just looking for someone to talk to and then know the resources.
There are many local resources, including the DuPage County Health Department's 24/7 crisis hotline, the Alive Center, and counselors at the high schools. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Aisha Ashley Hausa.
And if you or someone you know is experiencing suicidal thoughts, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at the number listed below. Coming up, a trailblazer at the Naperville Fire Department continues her education to help keep our community safe.
Edward Elmhurst Health presents this Healthy Driven Minute.
HIIT training stands for High Intensity Interval Training. Interval training incorporates high intensity movements followed by a low to moderate intensity exercise right after with minimal rest in between. You can really do this anywhere because it's body weight. So you could do squats, you could do planks, you could do push-ups. If you have stairs at home, you could do stairs. For example, if you wanted to start out with your squats, do that for 30 seconds, have a 30-second rest, and then go on to your push-ups, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Then go into your planks, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. If you're at a higher level and you can do the timing a little bit differently, maybe do 30 seconds on and 15 seconds off. After that, rest for about a minute or two and then repeat the entire circuit over again. If you're pressed on time, HIIT is great because it really only requires about 25 to 30 minutes of your time.
For more information, visit eehealth.org.
The Naperville Fire Department's Deputy Chief, Amy Scheller, is a lifelong learner and continues to develop her ability to manage the department. Scheller completed the 4-year Executive Fire Officer program through the National Fire Academy.
And it teaches you, all different things from executive development, executive analysis of community risk reduction, emergency management, and then strategic planning.
She wrote 3 applied research papers on topics like mental health response and resiliency training of firefighters. Scheller is the 2nd highest ranking member of the Naperville Fire Department. She said she hopes she can apply some of the things she learned through the program to make the NFD a more efficient unit.
I'm pretty interested in data-driven decision making and looking at the fire service a little different. So that was a big part of the Executive Fire Officer program. And hopefully some of the things that I learned will make an impact here.
She was one of just 2 women in her class of 23 fire department executives. 2 new exhibits at the DuPage Children's Museum are bringing an educational boost to the littlest learners. Our own Aisha Ashley Hausa shares how.
The DuPage Children's Museum has reimagined 2 of their exhibits for their youngest learners. The goal of Creativity Connections Young Explorers and Make It Move Young Explorers is to allow these youngsters to practice their physical, social, and emotional skills. But it's also about making the most important connection.
Both of them are now much more thoughtful and intentional about deepening the connection between the children, the little ones, 2 and under, and the important adults in their lives.
Even though the exhibits were designed for infants and toddlers, their older siblings can enjoy them too. Matching colors, learning about movement, and just taking a break at the Twinkle Tunnel are some of the activities in the new spaces. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Aisha Ashley Hausa.
There's a sweet new place opening up in downtown Naperville. Cinnaholic, located just off the corner of Jefferson Avenue and Main Street, offers 100% plant-based, dairy, lactose-free, egg and cholesterol-free treats, like of course cinnamon rolls and cookies. Tired of the limited vegan dessert options, Kayleen Barbera opened up Cinnaholic for those who have a specialized sweet tooth. Select community members had the chance to sample the delicious treats a day before its grand opening, which over 7,000 people on Facebook are interested in attending. Barbera says she and her team will wake up early on their opening day on January 17th, as she expects thousands of cinnamon rolls to roll out. And that's because of their special price tag that day of just $1. With about 20 different frostings and 20 different toppings, it might take you longer to decide what you want than make the order itself.
The goal is to really customize what you want. Here we've made a few of our local favorites, so that because people come in here, they're so confused. And that's what keeps them coming back too, because you can try something different literally every time you come in.
According to Cinnaholic, there's an app in the works so you can order your dessert ahead of time. Burritos from Down Under. An Australian restaurant is bringing their take on Mexican cuisine to Naperville. Cuisine is a fast casual restaurant with 134 locations across Australia, Japan, and Singapore. Their 135th restaurant and flagship U.S. location is now open in Naperville.
So when we wanted to launch in the U.S., we had to find a suburban area we thought best represented the United States, and we can replicate that model and expand throughout the U.S. And I spent 3 years looking for locations. When I landed in Naperville, I just fell in love with the place.
Marks is originally from New York and said he's excited to bring their 100% clean food back to America. Cuisine serves up breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert in the restaurant and via a drive-thru.
Nobody does what GYG does through a drive-thru, but what really sells GYG besides the food is our culture. So you walk into GYG, the music and the energy of our staff just makes it such an amazing experience that you have to see it to believe it.
Cuisine is celebrating their first U.S. location with $5 specials throughout their first week of opening. And a whole lot of restaurant deals are just around the corner at Naperville Restaurant Week. Naperville News 17's Casey Krajewski digs in to the story.
Naperville's diverse restaurant scene offers up options for diners of all tastes. But the 7th annual Naperville Restaurant Week gives customers the chance to try new places.
We have over 300 restaurants in Naperville. We have a whole mix. So we have everything from fine dining, steak and seafood, as well as family-friendly, sort of casual or fast casual restaurants.
And with at least 47 participating restaurants, deals can be found all over town. In South Naperville, Taps and Tenders is taking part for the first time, offering a 10% discount for online orders, dining in the restaurant, and through the drive-thru.
We just want to be part of the fabric of Naperville and get some new faces in here and get our name out there and show them what we can do. We're a great family place. Also got the bar for the big kids that want to come in and have a drink and relax a little bit. But we try to cast as wide of a net as we can.
Other restaurants are offering prix-fixe menus for lunch, dinner, or both. Back for its second year, Che Figata is hoping to attract diners who haven't yet gotten the chance to check out the Italy to Table kitchen.
Well, Restaurant Week brings in new customers and new clientele that haven't necessarily been to Che Figata before. And so this is what we like to say is this is our opportunity to have new regulars coming into our restaurant.
Che Figata is joined on the Citygate campus by Tap In Pub and Citygate Grill, who are also offering deals. And in the heart of downtown, Shaku is serving up their modern Asian cuisine during Restaurant Week for the first time.
As we all know, Naperville is a very thriving restaurant community, very energetic downtown, and we'd like to be a big part of that and bring our experience to the community and the families of Naperville.
Though it's called Restaurant Week, you actually have even more time to try out the various offers. Deals are available from January 24th through February 8th, and a full list of participating restaurants is available on dinenaperville.com. No matter what you're craving, Naperville Restaurant Week has an option for everyone. For Naperville News 17, I'm Casey Krajewski.
NCTV 17 has also featured many of the participating restaurants on Dine Around Naperville, which you can watch right here on nctv17.com. Up next, North Central College football celebrates a historic season.
NCTV17.com is the best place for you to stay up to date on your neighborhood happenings. Get your local news and sports all on the go by signing up for our daily news update. Naperville Community Television, keeping you informed.
It was a champion's welcome home on December 21st. Less than 24 hours after the North Central football team won the national title over the University of Wisconsin Whitewater. The shine on the program's first championship has yet to dull for the Cardinals some 3 weeks later. As evident by the atmosphere on the night the college honored the team in halftime of the men's basketball game.
Ever since it really happened, it's been super surreal, and just everything that's been going on, it's been just something you can never really just put into words of how amazing and how just unreal it's been.
Ethan Greenfield is a sophomore at North Central. He also happened to win the title game MVP honors on that fateful night in Texas. The running back isn't alone in feeling like it's still a dream.
Still feels unreal. I don't think it's any of the seniors that were done playing football, but it's a great way for us to go out, so it's awesome.
Rick Sturba was a fifth-year senior, battling back from an ACL tear and playing for an extra year just to get one final season with the Cardinals.
All of us seniors in general are just happy that we left our legacy and we got to be that first team. So, we set up the younger guys to get another one next year now.
Next year, seemingly, is already here. Brad Spencer is the offensive coordinator and recruiting coordinator in addition to his title as assistant head coach. It's been a balancing act celebrating while also gearing up for next fall.
It feels like almost every single day you get to celebrate it a little bit. There's a reality that you got to move on and keep recruiting and keep getting ready for next year and reviewing, what went right and which there was a lot of.
Spencer has been at North Central since 2000, first as a player, then as a coach. He joined the staff in 2004 and has helped build the program into a powerhouse, the same one the Naperville community has enjoyed over the last decade and a half. And they're really enjoying it now.
More than we would have ever expected. I think we always thought that if we could win a national championship, it'd be a big deal at North Central and in the community, but it's exceeded our expectations.
No matter where we are in the suburbs, I've been noticed, like with the hat, if I'm wearing the hat, everyone's like, oh, congratulations and whatnot. So it's great, love the support locally. So
it's been fantastic for the community, fantastic for North Central, and especially great for us in football.
So what's next? Well, for Naperville native, Neuqua Valley alum, and Gallardi Trophy winning quarterback Brock Rutter, preparing for a run to the NFL. For the rest of the Cardinals, it's title defense mode. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Kevin Jackman.
And if you have an idea for a sports story feature, let us know at newstips@nctv17.com. The Oscars are almost here, but it's not just some of Hollywood's finest who'll take home a prize. Classic Cinemas is once again hosting their Predict the Oscars contest. If you stop by Ogden 6 for a movie, be sure to cast your ballot at the table. There are 7 categories, including Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Picture. The top prize is a year of free movies and a one-night getaway at Hotel Baker in St. Charles. 5 second-place winners will get $100 Classic Cinemas gift cards, and each correct entry receives 2 free passes to Brookfield Zoo and Classic Cinemas. You can cast your vote up until the Oscars, which are on February 9th. And finally, a Waubonsie Valley High School sophomore checked off her top bucket list wish thanks to a random act of kindness. 16-year-old Bryn Drews landed on The Ellen Show after her mom sent in a video clip of Bryn following Ellen's suggestion to pay it forward by buying someone else's order at Starbucks. In Bryn's case, she was still under the effects of anesthesia for her wisdom teeth extraction, leading to a very funny video.
Yeah, I paid it backwards.
Ellen rewarded the teen with a $10,000 check from Starbucks and 10,000 Starbucks Rewards stars. Bryn also gets to return to Ellen for Ellen's birthday show. And that's what's happening right here in your neighborhood, Naperville. We'll see you next week. Until then, you can catch up on local news by signing up for our NCTV 17 News Update, delivered right to your inbox Monday through Friday. Sign-up information is right on our website, nctv17.com.
This week's Naperville News 17 is brought to you in part by the following sponsors. This program is partially funded by a grant from the City of Naperville.